My body dies, my mind continues, and I am scared of what may happen after that. All right, so what's going on there? Is that really the fear of death? It's not the fear of death, but it's a related fear, and I want to talk about it. So we've renamed that, and I call it the fear of continued existence, or the fear of after death, whatever you want to call it. But I call it the fear of continued existence because in that case, the person's belief is their body has died, their mind is continuing. But look behind the curtain a little bit, and what are they really afraid of? Afraid of the unknown, afraid of not knowing perhaps whether they're going to have enough control over their life after their body has died. Those types of things are really what's driving it, right? So what I like to talk about in terms of possible solution for this fear of continued existence is this idea of overcoming the fear of death through virtue. Now, what do I mean by virtue? I'll tell you what I don't mean. I don't mean the current thinking about virtue. Don't get too close to that loudspeaker, I guess. Sorry about that. I don't mean the current thinking of virtue, which is do this, don't do that. It's a set of rules. Most people, when you think of virtue, you think, oh, I got to be like this way. I shouldn't do that. It's like a behavioral set of rules or attitudinal set of rules. Do this, don't do that. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the ancient Greek sense of virtue. And what was the ancient Greek sense of virtue? The ancient Greek sense of virtue was turn within, go within, get to know yourself, know thyself. Ever heard of that phrase, right? We've all heard of that. Know thyself, get to know what makes you tick. What is it about your personality, for example, that makes you unique? Because we're all unique. What makes you unique from somebody else who's in the same situation, but has a totally different reaction, totally different interpretation, sees the same movie even, totally different experience? What makes your personality unique and different? Knowing oneself, turning within, really getting to know oneself on a very, very deep level. And then, in this ancient Greek notion of virtue, understand oneself better, therefore one's thoughts, one's actions become more effective, we're happier, more productive human beings. So internal first, then external application and experience and enjoyment of life. This is the ancient Greek notion of virtue. So think about it in this context of what we're talking about. Overcoming the fear of death, and overcoming the fear of death in this specific instance of the fear of continued existence.